Good morning. It's Monday, March 10th. Here's what we're working on so far. An early morning crash in Upper Ottawa Street has sent a man to hospital.
Mark Carney has been elected by a landslide to be the next Liberal leader and Prime Minister.
And Buffalo Bills' Josh Allen agrees to a historic 6-year contract. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Live on your Monday morning. I'm Emily Taylor. We're in with Louis Bucco and, of course, Brian Wood. Good morning to all of you.
Morning.
Good morning. Happy March break to those who are celebrating. And hopefully that means the roads will be a little bit quieter this week.
Yeah, a little lighter. Yeah, usually it's a little bit lighter on March break week, and so that bodes well.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for sunshine, I think we got that for you today as well. Yeah. Yay. And milder temperatures, too. Yesterday we got to 7 degrees with lovely sunshine. Today we're going to hit 12 degrees in the sunshine. So breezes, a little bit, but we're sitting at 3 at the moment, which is, mild to start a morning here in March. So we'll enjoy that. The skies are fairly clear. So the skies will stay clear, and a 12-degree high, even milder for tomorrow. But we'll start to see a little more cloud cover starting to push in, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I want to check traffic here this morning. Not a lot happening on the roads, on the major routes, at least the highways, of course. Looking at the 403 and Waterdown Road, that's doing okay at the moment, so pretty light volume there. We'll go to some MTO traffic cameras, and there's nothing here at the Red Hill Creek. So as you're looking at this particular camera, Toronto-bound lanes are coming towards us. We'll flip to the top of the Skyway Bridge. That looks good. We did have a disabled vehicle here at Burl Oak, but they have cleared that, so that's moving nicely. But as we mentioned off the top, we've got a road closure in Hamilton. North and southbound lanes in Upper Ottawa closed at Redbury for a problem there. So we will talk about weather. We will talk about traffic. We'll do it all coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thanks, Brian. We're actually going to start with that closure this morning. A man is in hospital with life-threatening injuries after a crash on Upper Ottawa Street. Simone Gavros joins us live from the area with the details. Simone.
Well, Emily, this is Upper Ottawa and Redbury Street, and the call came in just after 2 a.m. about the single vehicle crash involving a stolen Honda Civic. Now, collision reconstruction unit is on scene right now trying to piece together what happened here this morning. You can see the investigator just in the middle of Upper Ottawa Street looking onto the ground there with his flashlight, and then there's also pylons that are marking the road right up to where the vehicle is. It's lying in the middle of the street on the roof of the vehicle, so it's flipped over. Now, right now this morning, when I spoke to police on the phone, I was told that police are looking for 3 men who fled the scene on foot, and they headed westbound from the scene. Now, a canine track was already done this morning, but they lost them. They're described as wearing baseball caps and COVID masks. Now, as for the man in hospital, police say he was ejected from the vehicle, and he's believed to be in his late teens, early 20s. He has not been identified just yet. Now, right now, Upper Ottawa Street is closed between Redbury Street and the city yards, just south of the Link overpass. It'll likely be like this for the rest of the morning. Now, for the time being, drivers headed on Upper Ottawa Street are asked to either make a U-turn in the city yard, where it's just south of the Link, or if you're headed on Redbury Street, you're headed down that area. But again, investigators are going to be on scene for the rest of the morning, as they're going to be holding this scene, trying to figure out what exactly took place here. And of course, that man is in hospital still with those life-threatening injuries, and police are still looking for the 3 men who fled the scene on foot. And we're going to be getting more updates throughout the morning about that. For now, Louis, I'll send things back to you.
All right, thanks, Simone. Hamilton police are asking for the public's help finding a missing teenage girl. Police say 14-year-old Sophia Goodar was last seen on Friday after she left her residence around 11 p.m. Police are concerned for her well-being. She's described as 5 foot 6 inches tall, 120 pounds, with long brown hair. She may be wearing a black bubble vest and gray cargo-style track pants. Anyone with information is asked to contact police.
Hamilton Public Health is investigating a confirmed measles case in a child linked to travel. Potential exposure sites include Hamilton Medical Center, Costco Stony Creek Medical Walk-In, and McMaster Children's Hospital on March 5th and 6th. The health agency is notifying and following up with those who may have been exposed. You're asked to watch for measles symptoms for 21 days after exposure, even if you're vaccinated. Hamilton Public Health says symptoms typically appear 7 to 21 days after infection and may include a high fever, red blotchy rash, cough, runny nose, and red watery eyes. As of February 26th, Ontario has reported 127 confirmed and 50 probable cases of the virus. The federal Liberals have elected Mark Carney to lead their party into the next election in a resounding first ballot victory, putting him on track to become the next Prime Minister of Canada.
I pledge to you and to all Canadians that I will follow their example. I will work day and night with one purpose, which is to build a stronger Canada for everyone.
More than 150,000 people voted. Carney secured nearly 86% of the vote. He has helped run two Group of Seven economies in crises before and now will try to steer Canada through the looming trade war brought by U.S. President Donald Trump, a threat of annexation, and an expected federal election.
There's someone who's trying to do the opposite. There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Yeah, Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed. And we won't. We won't.
It's not clear when Carney will be sworn in as Prime Minister. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau gave his farewell speech to Liberals just before Carney was announced as his replacement.
And make no mistake, this is a nation-defining moment. Democracy is not a given. Freedom is not a given. Even Canada is not a given. None of those happen by accident. None of them will continue without effort.
Trudeau nodded to the challenges Canada has faced from the last decade, including the COVID-19 pandemic, and says he is confident Canada will emerge from this latest existential challenge even stronger. In the meantime, 16-year-old Ella Grace Trudeau introduced her father to the crowd before his final speech.
I've had some great conversations with my dad about the difficult situations I've lived through, and he never failed to make me feel better. He listened, and more than that, I knew he heard me, he understood me, because he lived through all that. The only difference is that back then there was no social media. Imagine constantly seeing your dad or even news about him as you scroll through your feed. I gotta say, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him at home and less of him online.
Ella Grace went on to say that she wouldn't trade the last few years for anything and that she is proud to have seen him fight for Canada.
All right, Sportsline, let's start with some football news on this Monday, where the Buffalo Bills have signed their most valuable player to a very valuable contract.
The Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming.
Josh Allen can do magical things. Look at Josh Allen. Oh my goodness. He is a football player.
Quarterback Josh Allen was rewarded with a contract extension worth $330 million, with an NFL record $250 million of it guaranteed. Makes him among the league's highest paid players. The new contract adds 2 years to Allen's current contract and locks the 28-year-old in through the 2030 season. The extension comes following Allen's seventh NFL season, in which he became the third Bills player to earn NFL MVP. Speaking of most valuable player, let's check in on the NBA, where it was a matchup of MVP candidates in OKC yesterday, where Hamilton's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and his Thunder were hosting Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets.
Now SGA against the former Thunder guard Westbrook. Pull up three, a 40-point game. The 11th of the year for Gilgeous-Alexander. That MVP resume continues to improve.
SGA scored 9 of his team-high 40 points in the fourth quarter and added 8 boards, 5 assists, and 3 steals as the Thunder held on for a 127-103 win over the Nuggets. It was the 7th win in a row for Oklahoma City, who now sit 12 games clear of first place in the Western Conference. These two teams right back at it tonight in OKC. Switching gears to hockey, where the Toronto Scepters were looking for a 5th straight win on home ice, taking on the Minnesota Frost at Coca-Cola Coliseum yesterday.
Season spin. Walks out in front. A one-time shot. They score! And Renata Fast makes the play. The Scepters are tied at 1.
Burlington's Renata Fast scored her 5th goal of the season with just over a minute left in the second period. Tied this one up at 1 and got the sold-out crowd of more than 8,500 on their feet. This one needed overtime, and in the extra frame, it will be Minnesota captain Kendall Coyne Schofield, who follows her own rebound and puts it past Kristen Campbell to end the game. Toronto loses at home for the first time in 2025 as the Frost take this one 2-1 the final.
Skating it in. Here comes Robrick. Out front. Harris scores! Matthew Harris ties the game with 17 seconds to go in the third.
Steve Clark with the call on TV Cogeco. Matthew Paris forced overtime in the dying seconds of the third period, and while the Ice Dogs would eventually lose the game to the Frontenacs in overtime, the consolation point was enough to clinch a spot in the postseason for the first time since 2019. Staying on the ice in the NHL, where the Capitals' Alex Ovechkin moved one step closer to history last night.
And there's an empty net waiting. Alex on the backhand. Point number 1600 for the Great Eight is an empty net clincher.
Ovechkin became the 11th player in NHL history to reach 1,600 career points while moving in within single digits of passing Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record in Washington's 4-2 win over Seattle. The 39-year-old's 33rd goal of the season keeps him on pace to set the once-to-be-thought unbreakable record of 894 career goals.
Clean!
Brad Jacobs.
Clean, yes! Yep. Yes!
Brad Jacobs,
yes!
Here we go.
Yes!
Got it, and he does. From the brink of elimination to Brier champion Brad Jacobs.
Brad Jacobs made a game-winning hit 4-3 on the final rock to outduel Matt Dunstone of Manitoba 5-3 on Sunday in the Montana's Brier Championship final in Kelowna, BC. It's the second career Brier title for the veteran skip, who also won in 2013.
All right, time to get you going here. 13 minutes after 6 o'clock. It is Monday, 10th of March, and March break week is officially underway, of course, so traffic should be a little bit lighter. We're not seeing any problems here at the 403 and Waterdown Road. Hasn't really changed an awful lot right there. Let's go to some MTO traffic cameras and see if we can spot anything, and I haven't seen anything. QEW Martin Mountain, that is, between Niagara Falls and St. Catharines, looks good. Red Hill Creek, still no problems. Here's Fairview, so Toronto-bound lanes towards us on that shot. East of Royal Windsor Drive, so you're looking at the split to go off to the 403 and Ford Drive right there as you head away from us. And here's a look at Dixie. No problems right there. Keep in mind the road closure on the mountain, north and southbound lanes on Upper Ottawa, completely closed at Redbury Street, and that's going to continue throughout the morning. All right, let's get to our temperature. Temperature on the mild side to start our morning here. We are 3 degrees at the moment. We have light winds, fairly clear sky, so it's not a bad start to our morning. We've got got a frontal boundary that is going to approach. Now, that low pressure system is leaving. Incoming, there you can see that warm air starting to push in, but it's going to be replaced by some chillier air and a bit more cloud cover for the day tomorrow. But then it's going to be right back to sunshine and lovely mild temperatures as we continue through the long range forecast. So just be prepared for a little bit of a fluctuation later on tonight. Today, temperature cool for Niagara Falls at 7, but the rest of us 10, 11, 12, 9 for Toronto. Niagara Falls and Toronto going to be getting that wind coming off the lake, and that's going to keep them a little subdued temperature-wise, but otherwise it's going to lovely sunshine. As I said, a bit of a breeze. Tonight, we stay fairly mild, 5, 6, 4 degrees tonight, 3 degrees for Guelph and Kitchener. Skies will be fairly clear. It's tomorrow when we start to see the effects of the approaching cold front. So we're going to get more cloud cover as the day goes on. Again, Niagara Falls only 9, but the rest of us 12, 13, even 15 degrees. Now, Peel into Toronto, there's a chance of a shower later in the day as that cold front gets closer, and that's really going to drop our temperatures as we go tomorrow night into Wednesday. So out the door this morning, it's mainly clear. It is mild. We're sitting at 3 degrees at the moment. And we'll look long range coming up. Emily, Louis.
I am loving seeing those temperatures on the forecast.
I'm not liking those cold front words that Brian's throwing out there.
But I'm loving the 15 degrees words. That's my favorite. All right, thank you, Brian. Coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And in business news, China announced new retaliatory tariffs against Canada. We'll have all of those details and more in 2. Welcome back to Morning Live. Good morning, Emily Vukovic. What do you have coming up in Chit Chat?
Hi, good morning, guys. Well, we are going to be talking about a Frasier reboot potential. I know they canceled it. It was on Paramount Plus for 2 seasons, but Frasier says he is optimistic for the 3rd. We've got a brand new Dolly Parton song. Of course, this is after her husband of over 60 years passed away early last week. And we'll talk about Kevin Bacon and how he does not like when they play Footloose at weddings.
It's a classic, though. You got to play Footloose at a wedding, right?
I must be sick of it by now, though. All right, thank you so much,
Thanks,
Emily. We'll chat soon. All right, let's take a look at our business numbers this morning. The Canadian dollar is up a couple basis points to 69.60 cents U.S. Gold is down $8.60 an ounce, and crude is 13 cents lower, trading just below $67 a barrel. Checking midday trading in Europe, markets are down across the board in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were up in Tokyo, but down in Hong Kong and Shanghai. Canadian and American stock markets made up some ground to close out a rocky trading week on Friday. The TSX was up 174 points, the Dow gained over 200, and the Nasdaq closed 126 points higher.
U.S. tariffs on Canadian dairy and lumber won't take effect until next month, but steel and aluminum tariffs will start this Wednesday. U.S. President Donald Trump is dismissing business concerns over the uncertainty his tariffs could cause, including the possibility of higher prices. He hasn't ruled out a recession this year, acknowledging his tariffs could affect U.S. growth. Trump also confirmed his reciprocal tariffs will begin on April 2nd. When Trump announced his intention to tariff dairy, he complained Canadian dairy tariffs were up to 250%, but didn't provide context on how dairy duties work or mention that the U.S. also has industry-related tariffs of its own.
China has announced tariffs on over $2.6 billion worth of Canadian agricultural and food products, retaliating against levies introduced in October by Ottawa. This opens a new front in a trade dispute largely driven by U.S. President Trump's tariff threats. Now, these new tariffs will take effect on March 20th, mirroring import duties Canada imposed on Chinese-made electric vehicles, steel, and aluminum. The tariffs include a 100% duty on rapeseed oil and a 25% duty on seafood and pork.
Ottawa has announced more than $6 billion in aid for Canadian businesses hit by the trade war with the United States. The Trade Impact Program sets aside $5 billion over the next 2 years to help businesses cope with decreased U.S. sales and reach new global markets. $500 million is available for business loans at preferred interest rates and another $1 billion for loans for the agricultural sector. The federal government is also building new flexibility into the employment insurance program to help businesses retain workers by reducing hours. All right, that's a quick look at business news this half hour. We need a break, but Brian will be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast. Stay with us.
Good morning, 6:24 on the 10th morning of March. Let's go right to our MTO traffic cameras. Here's the QEW in Welland. Wow, that's wide open, nothing to see there. Well, that camera was just there, so let's get off that one. Oh, well, we're playing cameras this morning. That's the way it goes. Okay, here's the 403 in Burnham Thorpe Road. I have no control over those cameras. They come and they go on their own. I want to mention the problem that we have in Hamilton. We've got a road closure. North and southbound lanes on Upper Ottawa closed at Redbury. Now that's just south of the link. It's going to be closed, it looks like, throughout the day for a police investigation going on there. All right, let's get to some of the temperatures that we have at the moment. Temperature in Hamilton sitting at 3 degrees. That's a nice mild start to our morning here. 2 for Grimsby, 3 for Toronto, +1 into Mississauga. So seasonal temperatures for this time of year. -5 for the overnight low. So that gives you an idea of how mild it is to start the day. 3 for the daytime high. So that's where we're sitting right now. Those are our sun times for the day today. Yes, it's daylight saving time. So 7:41 it comes up. 7:20 it goes down. And those are our records for today. And there you can see we are going to have the sunshine today. I want to thank Heather for sending in this shot to us. The swans are back. There's a good sign of spring. So she was out for a walk yesterday morning and enjoyed that down at the Burlington Beach. So look at these temperatures. 12 degrees today in the sunshine. A bit of a breeze. Yeah, okay. So 5 degrees overnight tonight. It stays mild. Tomorrow 13. However, the approaching cold front is going to start to bring us in some clouds. And then look what happens as we go from Tuesday into Wednesday. -7, and then we have a high of only 3. But that's just for one day. So it'll be a cool day on Wednesday. But then we go back to 16 on Thursday, 14 on Friday. We hang on to the sunshine, and then we get some showers and rain moving in, 12 and 9 as we get into another weekend. That's a look at your forecast. Emily, Louie.
Thanks so much, Brian. Louis, would you consider yourself a space fan?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right?
A little
Space
bit.
is kinda cool,
It's cool.
right?
There's just so much unknown, you know?
So many unknowns. All right, this one is for space fans. Your next big design idea could make its way to the moon and back.
So NASA is asking creators from around the world to design a zero-gravity indicator that will be launched into space aboard the Artemis 2 test flight. Now, what is zero-gravity indicator exactly? It's a small plush item that provides a visual indication when the spacecraft reaches space. For example, a plush Snoopy rode inside the spacecraft during a previous mission. Up to 25 contest finalists will be selected, but only one design will be fabricated and served as the official moon mascot. Submissions are due by May 27th.
What's that guy there? Is it like a little Einstein?
It looks like, yeah, that's what it looks like, eh? So that's pretty cool. That's how they know when they're like in space, I guess.
I always thought it was something slightly more technical, but I guess a floating plushie also does the job just as effectively.
Can't you just look out the window? I don't know. Do they have a front-facing window in a spaceship?
Depends on the spaceship. We're going to have to look this up. We'll get back to you on that one. All right, we're going to take a quick break. More to come just after this.